Clara stumbled barefoot along the dim forest path, her legs trembling, her breath sharp against the cold night air. Behind her, distant voices echoed, searching, hunting, cruel reminders of what she was running from. Just when her body threatened to give out, a beam of light broke through the darkness. Daniel appeared, holding a lantern, his tall figure steady and calm against the shadows. His presence felt like an answer to silent prayers. He reached out his hand, steady, inviting. Clara collapsed into his arms, relief flooding her heart like warm sunlight breaking through storm clouds. His grip was firm, protective, promising safety she thought she'd never find. He guided her to his cabin at the edge of the woods. The old wooden structure glowed with the promise of shelter, its windows flickering with firelight. For the first time in hours, Clara felt hope rise again. She thought she had been saved. But when Daniel stepped inside after her, the sound of the bolt sliding across the door echoed louder than her heartbeat. The cabin was warm, filled with the comforting scent of burning pine. Clara's shivering stopped as the fire's glow wrapped around her like a blanket. She looked around. Simple furniture, shelves lined with books, a kettle steaming gently on the stove. It felt like a home, not a trap. But then the metallic click replayed in her mind, the locked door. She glanced back at it, her chest tightening. Something shifted in the air. The firelight no longer felt safe but suffocating, its crackle mocking her silence. Daniel moved quietly around the cabin, placing blankets on the couch, setting a cup of steaming tea on the table. His face carried no menace, only an unsettling calmness. Clara studied him, searching for malice, for cruelty, but found only unreadable stillness. He sat across from her, his eyes steady and unwavering. He did not speak, he did not explain, he simply watched. Clara felt like prey under an invisible lens. The warmth of his kindness warred with the sharp edges of his silence. She wanted to believe he was a savior, but the locked door screamed otherwise. As the night deepened, Clara's exhaustion pulled her back into memory. She remembered the place she had escaped, a house of control, where every smile was a mask and every kindness was a chain. She remembered the weight of unseen hands keeping her bound, the suffocating routine of obedience, and the desperate moment she broke free into the forest. Now, in this cabin, she felt the cruel twist of fate. Had she run only to find another captor? Her past pressed against her like cold iron shackles, and tears blurred her sight. The more she thought of what she had endured, the more her fear of Daniel grew. Every locked door reminded her of chains she swore she'd never wear again. Daniel, unaware of the storm inside Clara, moved toward a shelf. He picked up a photograph in a small wooden frame. The picture showed a girl, her hair braided, her smile bright with innocence. Daniel's fingers trembled as he held it, his jaw tightening as if swallowing back memories. Clara noticed. The mask of his stillness cracked for just a moment. Grief, pain, something human, something raw. The photograph fell from his hand, the glass shattering against the wooden floor. Daniel didn't pick it up. He simply stood, fists clenched, his face turned away. Clara realized he was haunted by ghosts of his own. She wondered, was she a replacement for the girl in the photo, or a prisoner to keep him from being alone? Clara's survival instincts flared. She forced herself to move closer, her knees weak, her breath shallow. She placed her trembling hand on the edge of the table, close enough to the steaming cup he had left for her. Daniel finally turned to look at her, his eyes hollow yet burning. The silence between them was thick, an unspoken bargain of fear. She would not scream. He would not strike. They both knew the fragile balance could collapse with the smallest shift. Every second felt stretched, every glance a battle of wills. Clara felt the power of her own fear, but also the spark of resilience hidden beneath it. She would wait, she would watch, and she would choose her moment. When dawn touched the edges of the cabin, Daniel stepped outside briefly, leaving the door bolted behind him. Clara's eyes darted to the shelf where the broken photograph still lay. Amid the shards of glass, something glinted. A small brass key. Her pulse thundered in her ears as she picked it up. The cold metal felt heavier than iron chains, yet it pulsed with promise. She hid it quickly under her sleeve, her heart racing. For the first time since stepping into the cabin, hope stirred again. Not the fragile, naive hope she had felt upon meeting Daniel, but sharp, determined hope, carved from desperation. When Daniel returned, his eyes fell to the shelf, the missing key, the scattered shards. His face hardened, and Clara felt the room shrink around her. He stepped closer, his presence towering, suffocating. Clara clutched the hidden key, her nails biting into her palm. She forced herself not to tremble, not to look away. In that instant, their roles reversed. Daniel's grief chained him to the cabin, to the memory of the girl in the photograph. Clara's fear became her strength, her silence a weapon sharper than any blade. With sudden resolve, Clara darted toward the door, her body driven by raw instinct. Daniel lunged, but grief slowed him. Hesitation bound his limbs. Clara jammed the key into the lock, her fingers slipping with sweat, her breath breaking in shallow bursts. The bolt gave way, light spilled through the opening. She flung the door wide and stepped into the morning air, the forest stretching endlessly before her. Behind her, Daniel stopped in the doorway, watching her leave. He did not chase. His hands hung useless at his sides, his face carved in anguish. She was free, and he was left behind. When Clara disappeared into the trees, Daniel sank to his knees. He picked up the broken photograph again, the smiling girl staring back at him. His daughter. Lost years ago to the same men Clara had escaped from. He had locked the door not to trap her, but to protect her. His silence was not cruelty, but grief swallowing words. He had wanted to save her, but his haunted ways made him look like a jailer. Clara would never know. The cabin door remained open, the wind carrying in the morning light. Daniel sat alone with the photograph, trapped not by locks, but by his own sorrow.